What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to JoJo Speaks. Thank you guys so much for being here. Of course, I got my good friend Dustin with me. We're going to review 90 Day Fiance the
Mhm.
other way. And you guys, if you
Yeah.
did not notice, this past Saturday, I posted a review of Power Book Ghost Season 4, Episode 6. So check that out, please. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we are here for 90 Day Fiance the other way. Dustin, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Jonathan, for very much over the weekend. I'm still going through a lot of stuff, so thank you very much. And that would be a lot harder without the love and support that I would get from you. So thank you very much, Jonathan.
You are very
Mhm.
welcome, Dustin. Let's get into this thing. Let's start out with who I'm going to say is honestly my favorite couple of this series, which I was not expecting, but the more I see them, the more that I love to see them. Let's start with Statler and Ms. Dempsey. So Statler and
Mhm.
Dempsey, they've announced that they have christened the truck or the bus or the RV,
Mhm.
whatever you want to call it. So they have gotten it in,
Yeah.
sisters doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? It's lovely to see. They
Mhm.
go to a boot sale. They call it a boot sale because
I never
trunk
heard of that
is
before.
right. I've never heard of it either. We would call it a yard sale or a garage sale or a sale at a whatever the case may be. They have a boot sale, which means
Mhm.
that they're selling things out of the trunk of their car or out of the side door, rather in this case of their bus.
Yeah.
Dempsey has a couple of items. She wears a size
Mhm.
6 to 8. And so they have a customer that comes up and buys from them. They also have tarot cards that they're selling, which is really interesting to me as well. And then Dempsey reveals to Statly that she sold a car and she has about $800 of that stashed away.
Mhm.
And Statly is a little bit taken aback by this because she's saying that, she's put up all this money. The bus is in Dempsey's name. However, I believe Statly put up the majority of the money to purchase it. I'm
Right.
not exactly sure if that's the case, but
Mhm.
Statly seems to be upset that Dempsey has kept this from her. And to be honest,
So
I
would I be?
mean,
I would be too.
I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing. I
I
mean,
would be, I would
you
kind
know,
of be in it. I agree. I agree with what she said because I would be kind of in the same boat, Jonathan. Because why would you hide something like that?
what's
Uh,
going on, Lady Virgo? Thank you so much
yeah.
for being here, boo.
What's going on, Lady Virgo? Well, why would you hide something like that for? You know, she put some money up for it. And that's her van, so she shouldn't have to put her name on it anyway. Because I thought she was already under the understanding that there was only going to be one person on the name. That I thought that was going to be her, but that she didn't like it too well. And then it didn't
Right.
sit.
She definitely
It didn't sit with her too well, and I kind of that was kind of an interesting part to me because I thought they was already under the understanding that she was going to be on the thing, and that was going to be by herself. But I guess there wasn't quite a very much understanding to that part, Jonathan.
Yes, absolutely. What's going on, Robin? Happy Monday to you as well. Thank you so much for taking out your time to be here
Happy
with
Monday.
us.
Happy
Um,
Monday, bro.
to be honest, Dustin, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. However,
I didn't either.
when they
Mm-mm.
have
No.
such big financial issues at this point, it would be
All right.
important for Dempsey to let Statly know that she does have a little bit of cash on the side. Now, it could be
Mm-hmm.
that Dempsey wanted to save that in, kind of save it for a rainy day.
All
That's what a
right.
lot of people would do. However,
Mm-hmm.
this is your girl. This is your partner. You would
I
think
would do
that
the
you
same
would
thing.
keep her
Yeah.
informed of all the
Yeah.
monies that you do have so that Statly's not so worried because Statly's thinking they ain't got nothing. Whereas
Right.
Dempsey has a little bit of not, I don't want to say chump change. $800 is not chump change, but she got a little change on the side. And so it's
Right.
it's okay. But I understand how Statly may kind of process this information. And
Right.
because she is autistic, if I'm not mistaken, or
She
she
is.
has ADHD, one or the other. But
Mm-hmm. We don't
but
know yet, but we don't know what she has. What she has. She's got to figure it out herself. And I hope that they both figure it out because they're one of my favorite couples on this show this season, and I don't want to see them fall apart. But allegedly, they're not. allegedly they're no longer together no more.
Yeah,
So
I would
that's a. Mm-hmm.
I would have to say this is my favorite couple, but my favorite man on the show is Sarper. Sarper is he's just so fine. Him and the boy from Ireland. That man from Ireland, he's just a dream come true, honey. But anyways, hope it seems like Dempsey and Statley will be able to work things out. But between the two, and I hope that things do get better for them as time goes on because I do see the love between them. And I do see that it is genuine. And so hopefully they'll be able to get past this and be able to move forward. And hopefully, you know,
I think they're gonna.
Dempsey.
I think they're gonna get past it, Jonathan. But I also think they need some. They also need some help to get past it because I think that that they had a long time where they didn't see each other, and before she went back over here. So I think there's a lot of stuff that they're being hiding. They're still hiding, and I don't like. I've said this plenty of times on here, and I'll say it again. I don't like when anybody hides anything. Uh, I'm very open and honest. So I think everybody else should be open and honest, just like everybody. It's like if I expect you to be open and honest, then you should be open and honest with me, or how you
Yeah.
feel. And that's just how that's just me. I like to be with people that have open and honest conversation, even if it's a hard conversation. So,
It
you
always
know
seems
that.
to be the case with every single one of these couples. There's no couple that is exempt from it. That all of these couples have issues with communication. They don't
Right.
want to communicate. Robin said down in the comments that she is over Sattler from the last season that they were on when she was thinking about giving up her apartment. Yes, I get that sentiment, Robin. However, I am a little bit more susceptible to the way that Statly processes things because of her condition. So I do
Right.
want to, give her a little bit of a pass as far as that's concerned. But
Well,
I
let me just
understand.
say, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Jonather.
Go ahead.
Let me just say, everybody processes different stuff differently. And a different person processes everything at their own pace, and it doesn't have to, one thing. The way I process things, it, that's
Mhm.
uh, that's just me. Yeah, some people they process things differently, and so that's just how people are. You can't have one person. It's not one person fits all. It's all different people that all process different things. And I can almost bet that Jonathan can agree with me on that one.
Absolutely. And Robin says here one funny thing about Statler that she found is that she kind of relates her to Ellen DeGeneres in her delivery. I don't know if I
Right.
picked up on that, but I definitely see where you're coming from because she does seem as loving. Actually, Dempsey gives me a little bit more of Ellen DeGeneres than Statler
Right.
does, as you
Right.
say, because she's a little bit more jovial. She's a little bit more upbeat, whereas
Right.
Statler is more calm, cool, and collected. She really doesn't get excited about too much of anything. So, it sort of kind of is what it is. But I have the most. I have the most hope for Statler and Dempsey to make it through
So do I.
this season,
I do.
to make it out alive
I have
together.
I have a lot of hope and hoping. I hope that they can heal their relationship, and I hope the relationship gets better. But I just hope they get some much needed much needed help. If you need some help, go ahead and get it. But that's what I was gonna say to that. I think that all these couples they need some time to process it all. Jonathan. I don't think they're
Yeah.
taking the time to process it, but I think they're trying to run it all. I think they're just trying to go like fast, and I think that they need time to process everything, and realize that people that they're not in the United States or in other countries. This is a 90-day the other way. It's not, it's in another country. It's not in the United States. It's not like the other 90-day shows. It's in another, So they got to realize that things are different in other countries. But, that's one thing.
Yeah, and Robin says here that Statler, she meant to say that Statler is a sudden victim. She is sort of kind of giving off victim vibes just a little bit, like she's because here's the thing. When Statler's friends were talking about Dempsey, I'm completely expecting for Dempsey to be someone who's taking advantage of Statler, who doesn't really have
Mm-hmm.
Statler's best interest at heart. But as much as I've seen Dempsey thus far, she's shown me nothing but love for Statler. She's shown me nothing but compassion for Statler. Um, and so that's why I sort of kind of agree with what Robin is saying. She's sort of kind of playing the victim in this thing, but at the
I
same
agree.
time, Statler
I
did
agree.
have the right to feel the way that she felt about Dempsey keeping that money from her. She has that right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure Statler and Dempsey would
Just
be
like you
just
said,
fine.
just like you and I said, communication.
Yes,
Communication is everything. It doesn't matter if
communication.
it's your communication is everything. It doesn't matter if it's your best friend. It doesn't matter if it's your fiance, whatever she is. It doesn't matter. Communication is everything. And that's just how things are. But some people they like communication, Jonathan. Some of these couples they like it, and I hope they get better communication. But they just need to hope and pray. They get better communication because that's the only way it's gonna last.
Absolutely. Lady Virgo said, have I had a chance to watch the 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After reunion and recap? I have not had a chance to watch it yet in its full entirety. However, I do think that we should have a special video for that. So as soon as I'm able to watch it, Dustin and I will do a review on that reunion because
that's gonna
there
be
was a
that's
there
gonna
was
be
a
an interesting. I thought
yeah.
that sorry that's
It's
gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a whole lot to get into. So yes, we will definitely be reviewing that just for
Right.
you, Miss Lady Virgo. Let's move on to Natalia and James, who are in Indonesia. So Natalia and James, they are being visited by Natalia's sister and her nephew and niece. And
Right.
she sees the way that James is interacting with her nephew and her nieces, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all looking really nice. And
Mm-hmm.
Natalia's parents are like, oh, well, when you could to have kids, you'll be able to do this as well. And all of this time, Natalia is saying in her confessionals that she does not think that she knows rather that James does not want to have children. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know why she has not told her parents yet that James does not want to have children. And I think Natalia hasn't said anything yet because she's hoping that James will change his mind somewhere along the line in the future. But when you say that you don't want kids, say for instance, me, William Jonathan Lee, I don't want no kids whatsoever. There's
Neither do I.
nothing. Thank you. There's
Neither do
nothing
I. I
that
don't. I don't. I don't. I would say my name on here, Dustin Butler, but I do not want kids on here. I don't want kids. Not in this day and age. There ain't
there's
no. There's no way for me to have. I don't want kids in the future. I don't want kids now. No, I got enough situation going on as it is, and Jonathan knows about the situation. So
yeah.
I don't want. The stuff that I go through for my. I don't want the stuff that I go through. No, I don't want no kids. No thanks.
Me either. And so there's nothing that anyone can do to convince me otherwise. So, of course, Natalia can, have all the hopes and dreams that she wants. But if the reality is that James does not want any kids, then ain't no way to get around that reality. That reality is just simply that, her reality. I'm sure that her parents will be okay with that. Once they find out, because they really can't force anyone to want to have children. However, I don't know how happy they'll be about their daughter marrying this man, knowing that he doesn't want kids. So they might have issues with that, the fact that she married him knowing that he didn't want kids. But they really can't get mad at James for that, because it's not like they told James before he got with Natalia that he had to want kids in order to get with her. So, it's really all on Natalia at this point. And she seems to be very fragile. It seems like it doesn't take much for her to get emotional.
She seems to be very. She seems to be very emotional. And of course, I have been very emotional myself lately.
Yeah.
And Jonathan knows why. But that's been very emotional for me, So I can imagine how she's been. But you need to be honest how you feel, Jonathan. I'm more than honest how I feel with
Right.
you. So people need to be understanding of how other people are. They need to be understanding that he does not want kids. But I don't think I think the mom is going to try to stop the marriage, Jonathan,
Mm,
because that's a uh, big part of their
their
you know,
culture.
their culture. They want to have kids, and I don't think that her mom's going to allow her to have a marriage with him if they don't have any kids.
Right. And that's
That's just how I feel right now. That's the truth because I don't think, from what I've seen on uh, the other way, from what I've seen so far on this season, I don't think they're going to allow her to be married to him. Not unless she has kids, and I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't.
yeah, yeah. It's not that they're going to disapprove of James, specifically just him himself. They're going to disapprove of the fact that she married someone who doesn't want kids. So, I mean, I
Uh,
would hope that they would be able to stay together, but their
uh,
relationship itself is fragile. Of course, again, they don't have as many communications issues as maybe some of these other couples on this series do. However,
right.
it doesn't seem like they are able to listen to one another and be
Uh,
able to understand where each other's point of view is coming from, which
right.
is definitely not a good thing um,
Uh,
um, at all. Let's see. Hello from we have someone from Ireland here.
hello.
How are you doing?
How you doing?
Yes, good to see you as well. Thank you so much for joining us from Ireland. We're so happy to have you.
Hi, Lady
So
Virgo.
Hey, Lady Virgo. So let's move forward with Sarper and Shekinah. So we didn't see them actually together in this particular episode, but she got into
Yeah.
more detail of what happened with the whole, kerfuffle, as just Judy would say, between the
Mm-hmm.
two. He grabbed her
Right.
phone, took her phone. He knows, Sarper said that he knows that it was wrong for him to do. And, he sort of kind of has a temper, which I could see that Sarper does have a temper. If things don't go
Mm.
his way, he's not going to be happy about it. So I
He has
completely
quite a. I seen his temper on the. I seen a big side of his temper come out last tell all,
Oh,
and
really?
I know that he has a big temper, and it really got kind of crazy on the tell all last season. So
Wow.
this was not the first time that I have seen this part of Surfer. So am I surprised? Not really, because I seen it last season in the last tell all. The last tell all was crazy. I actually had to stop the tell all uh, and take a break because it just got to be so emotional for the people to be on set with to be, even though he wasn't there in the flesh, but he was there on the pre-recorded thing. But they got so emotional they had to stop the tell all because he was being rude to her. He was just being rude to her so bad, in my
Wow.
opinion. Yeah, it was a crazy tell all last season.
I might have to go look for that. But yeah, Sarper is very remorseful for the way that he handled that. He had
Man,
been texting Shekinah all night. She hadn't responded to any of his text messages, which shows me that Shekinah does have strength. That she's not weakened by the beauty of Sarper and all that he reveals. By the way, Aaron sent me a photo of both Shekinah and Sarper before they got some plastic surgery, and Shekinah does obviously does have plastic surgery, but Sarper did look significantly different than he does now. So apparently that plastic
I
surgery did him some good.
I never seen the picture before. Mm.
Yeah, I might have to send you that on Facebook Messenger, Dustin. But
Yeah,
yeah, there,
just send it to me so I can see it. Yeah,
I will, I will.
yeah,
But yeah, Sarper knows that he was wrong in what he did.
right.
Don't I still don't get how one of her tracks ended up coming out of her head without
Uh-huh.
him actually grabbing it and pulling it out of her head. But neither
Mm-hmm.
one of them necessarily told specifically how that ended up happening. So
Right.
it's nice that Shekinah, seems to want to protect Sarper in this case, and not
Mm-hmm.
say that it was actually something of a DV type of
Right.
thing, a domestic type of issue. But we'll see where it goes. Here, I'm always on the fence about Shekinah because initially I was thinking, well, that this man has a tendency to cheat on you. But
Right.
with Starper saying that it seems like she's changed and she's not as easygoing as she used to be. She's not the little wallflower that she used to be. She's more attentive
Mm-hmm.
to everything that he's doing. She's more vigilant
Right.
in everything that he
Mm-hmm.
is doing. And so I like that she's having growth in this process.
Right.
And I have a good feeling that she's going to end up leaving Sarper. I have a really good feeling that she's not going to stay with him. I think this might be
Well,
the end of their relationship, especially since she left his apartment and took all of her belongings and her dog.
I'm glad you and I are on the same page because I'm in the same boat as you are, Jonathan.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be the last final straw
Yeah.
for Shekinah and Surfer. And I'm kind of glad to say this because I don't want her to be hurt.
Right.
Um, you know, if you're hurt by somebody, I know how it feels. I am, I know how it feels, 110% to how to feel like you are not evalu- not validated by
Right.
a certain person. And it's not easy, uh, and not easy at all. Not for me.
And
I
especially when you don't feel that validation from your partner.
right. hmm Yeah,
That that's
I know.
that's
But I know I know how it feels to not feel validated by a certain person, and it's just it's not a good feeling, Jonathan. Not at
no, it's
all.
not.
If you if you're in a place that you if you're in a place that if you're feel like you're in a place you can't you feel like you're just to be there, even though it's a person that you relate, a person that a person that but you just don't want to feel that way, Jonathan. Not at
Right.
all, because it's not a way to feel.
She
And
she doesn't feel heard in this
mm,
in this relationship, and again, as you said, Dustin, she doesn't feel validated. She doesn't feel as though her opinion is valid. It seems like it's Sarper's way or the highway, and I would hope
uh,
that he would do better with that. But something tells me that he may not get there, and I think that that would be
he,
the
he
reason why Shekinah might leave him.
he's not going to get there because she tried to explain herself last season
Mm,
to him, and it didn't go well. It didn't go well. So I kind of felt this way for a while now,
right,
but I wasn't gonna say nothing till you felt the same way because I know I just felt the same. I felt this coming on, but I want to make sure that we were on the same page before, because I didn't want to. I wasn't gonna say nothing till you said something, but I'm glad now. I'm glad now that we are on the same page because it's I can see it building up to the point to where she ain't gonna be putting up with that no more, and she don't
right.
deserve to put up with that no more either.
And it's
That's
completely okay if we have different opinions on any of the couples. You know what I'm saying? Your opinion's your
yeah.
opinion. My opinion's my opinion. Is
Right.
it's all valid here on JoJo Speaks.
Thank
So
you.
we'll see what happens. They seem to have a conversation in the next episode when we saw the preview for the rest of this particular season. But
Right.
again, I don't expect them to get back together. I really
I don't
don't.
think it either. Mm.
And for Shekinah and
She
for
didn't even show
Shekinah's
up at
best interest. Oh, go ahead.
she didn't even show up at the tell all.
Wow. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember you saying that last week. Yeah, she
She didn't even they're filming the tell all, Jonathan. They're supposed to be filming it now. And they didn't even they had two couples that didn't show up and she's one of them.
wow. So I mean, I'm rooting for Sarper. You know what I'm saying? He's a fine man. I hope he finds a
Right.
woman who is good for
Right.
him,
Yeah.
and who will love him the way that he wants to be loved. But Shekinah
Mm-hmm.
needs a man who will be attentive to her needs.
All right.
Where because right now it seems like she's running behind Sarper wherever he goes, like a little lap dog, and I
Okay.
think she's starting to see herself that way, and she doesn't like seeing that of herself on
Mm-mm.
television, much less.
I
And
just
so
wish I just wish she would have noticed it a long time ago. Uh,
right, right. But
because
better late than never. I'm
right.
rooting for Shekinah though. Like I was hating
Mm-hmm.
on her the first episode. I really was. But then when I
Right.
got to understand who Sarper really is, I started to root for Shekinah. So I'm wishing all the best for
Me
Shekinah.
too.
Let's move
Mhm.
on to Josh and Lily. So Josh and Lily had an argument on previously, not while things were being filmed, and he's
Right.
noticing these flashing lights on the street and
Uh-huh.
here and there, and he wants to know about these flashing lights. This is something that I didn't really understand too much. I don't know why this is so important to him, and Lily seems to have dismissed what he was saying concerning the lights, and he's saying, it
Right.
might be a little bit of a language barrier between the two. She
Me too.
seems to
Yep. That's
she
I.
seems
I. Mhm.
to dismiss him a whole lot, and he doesn't like that, which I don't think anyone likes being dismissed. But if Lily doesn't think it's important enough, and I feel like the way that Josh has been telling us how their relationship has gone, Lily seems like
Right.
she's the one that's wearing the pants, and she wants to make that evidently clear to everyone that she is doing everything for this relationship. She's doing everything for Josh. She's buying him this, she's buying him that. She's taking care of him basically while they're both in China because he cannot work due to the visa that he
Right.
has. Um,
Right.
and I understand why Josh would feel this way.
Mhm.
And once again, as you said a little bit earlier, Dustin, Josh does not feel validated in his relationship with Lily. And when you're
Uh-uh.
in that space and you also have a language barrier between you two, when you have a language barrier, you also have a culture barrier as well. I don't know if I've
Right.
ever heard that term before,
I heard.
but Lily
Me too.
doesn't seem to be attentive to Josh, and Josh
Right.
needs attention. He
Right.
doesn't want to feel like he's being dismissed as often as Lily seems to have dismissed him. And
Uh,
so, what do you think of this argument that they're having concerning these flashing lights? It didn't make any sense to me, Dustin.
well, I didn't think that it was necessary over flashing lights to have this great big this great big argument, Jonathan.
Yeah,
Um, this is a wide opening situation to me to see this on a TV show because this proves to me that they are not on the same page. And how are you going to get married to somebody that you're not on the same page with?
right.
Because I see a great big red flags. I see I see a divorce in the future. I don't see it lasting. I just don't because they're in two different life uh they're in two different life paths, Jonathan.
Yeah, they're on two
They're,
different
they're,
pages.
they're on two different pages. So how do they expect to have a marriage last that long? And that's just me.
Yeah, I just don't see Lily being able to see things from Josh's point of view completely and 100% fully. She can
Right.
try to explain himself as much as he wants to her, but the way that Lily processes things and the way that Lily goes about life is completely different from the way that Josh does. And although it's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful that they found love amongst one another, with the way that they have this language barrier, yes, they're able to have complete conversations in English. However, it
Right.
doesn't seem like Lily has necessarily comprehension of what the discussion was. And that seems to be an issue between the two. And I feel so bad for Josh because he loves Lily. And Lily
Well,
seems to
I
go
think they
ahead.
both love I think they both love each other, but they just don't understand
Agreed.
each other.
Agreed.
They they
And
they they, they both they both they both love each other, but they just don't understand to the level that they need to understand. She also needs to understand that he came from the United States of America, and he's used to working all the time, but he can't work in the state that you're living because he's on a visa, and you have to be the one to support him, and you knew that from the day one, and you're sitting there saying, "Well, I don't have the money." Well, if you don't have the money, then why'd you bring him over here?
exactly. Yeah, it's so interesting, and I hate to see Josh struggling with this issue with Lily, and with Lily automatically going to, well, if you don't love me, because she feels like, she keeps saying that she feels like Josh doesn't love her, and
Right,
she constantly is saying, well, we don't have to be in a relationship anymore, and that bothers Josh, that Lily is automatically going to the let's break up option,
well, that
without
bothers
and just skipping the whole let's work this thing out. We got to work
that
it
that
out. Let's at least
that bothers
try.
that bothers me, Jonathan, as
Yeah.
a viewer, as a viewer to see her break down like that on TV. national TV, and you're going to sit there and you're going to break down. If you're not happy, I say there's plenty of time, Jonathan. If you're not happy, then don't. Why be miserable? It
Right.
don't make any sense. If you're not happy, then don't go through with the marriage.
Exactly. So I hope that things would work out between Josh and Lily, but I honestly don't expect for them to stay
Well,
together.
did you see
I honestly don't. They're a cute couple, but I don't
yeah?
expect them
Did
to
you
stay together.
did you see the preview for next week?
I believe I saw the preview, but I don't remember exactly what happened between the two. Do you want to explain what happened?
Yeah, they were getting ready for their wedding and they canceled it at last minute. They
Oh,
canceled the wedding at last minute. They had the preview and they were getting ready to get married and they canceled it because they they thought, you know, you don't want to go through with this. Well, I kind of agree with him. If you don't want to go through with this, then why, But that's what happened. They were getting ready to be getting married and they canceled the wedding at the last minute.
yeah. So we will see what happens with them next. I'm assuming that Josh is going to fight for this relationship as long as he can. But
I've been
eventually,
like,
hey, Bianca, we see Bianca in the comments. Hey, boo. Good to
yeah,
see you,
yeah,
girl.
mm,
Or rather, sis, honey, because that's my sis right there. So,
mhm,
we'll see what happens with Josh and Lily. But as I said before, I don't expect them to last too much longer. Let's
yeah,
get to our last couple, NG
yeah,
and Corona. So we only saw one particular scene between NG and Corona. They of course are in
mhm,
Iceland. And
yeah,
Corona says that she wants him to have a little chit chat with her
right,
sister, her mother, and her grandmother. I believe is there as well. And
mhm,
she gives him a fair warning. My mother, she is hearing impaired, so she'll have to try to read your lips. But she's very direct, and
right,
she doesn't hold back. And so, if she says anything that is disrespectful towards you, she gives him a preemptive apology before they even get on the phone call. But when they do get on the phone call, it goes extremely well. I'm so
yeah.
happy with the
I was so
way
glad.
that this went.
Right, I was so glad it went that way, but I didn't expect it to go that because with these couples, Jonathan. I'm always preparing for the worst,
Of
and
course,
because I
you
see
have
the
to.
I've seen the worst before, so of course I always have to prepare for the worst. But I'm glad that it was going the way it did. But I just don't think that they're quite on the same page, both of these couples. I don't think that he's on the same page with her, and I don't think he's on the same page with the either. Because I think that we're still not seeing the true, person. I want to see how she really is, Jonathan. You
Yeah,
know,
Corona's I
Karun.
think it was her mother asked, have you seen Corona blow up yet? He said, no, I haven't seen it yet. I'm a little scared. Do I need to run away when I see it? Because, they're
Yeah,
trying to give him fair warning of the way that Corona deals with bad things, or she might blow up. But I'm surprised that NG hasn't done anything yet to get her to that space. Um,
okay.
so I'm wondering what it will take for NG to do to get her to that place where she does feel like she has to blow up. So hopefully she
Right.
won't get to that space at all. But her family
I
asked
hope
her
she don't.
if she's applied to the school out there in Iceland. She said that she hasn't done it yet, but it is first on her priority list. They
Yeah.
also talked about getting married. NG sort of kind of threw it off a little bit. He was like,
Well, I
"Yeah,
think
I
it's
want to get married," but he doesn't really sound serious
I
about
think it's a
getting
little
married
bit.
to Corona.
I think it's a little bit red flag, Jonathan, when he says, "Well, I want to." He says when she brought up the marriage part because that he's not serious,
No,
in my opinion. He's not serious about marrying her. But
he's not. No.
he's not serious at all. But yet he's on a TV show about marrying people.
Exactly. Well, you have to get married within 90 days. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. But the thing is, I love his personality. I love that he's always jovial. I love that he always seems to be in a good mood.
uh,
And so I would assume that it's not too often that he finds himself in a bad mood. So I just love to see him. And it just boggles my mind that Corona ended up with a guy like NG, because he's so low key to me. Even though he's almost always smiling, it seems like he's always down for a good time. But he seems extremely low key compared to Corona, who is very high key. But at the same time, opposites do attract. My parents are one good example. My sister and her husband are another good example. My brother-in-law. So I guess it would make sense in the relationship sense. But we'll see what happens with them next. You have any other words concerning this episode before we go,
No,
Dustin?
I do. I don't have anything. I just enjoy being here with you, Jonathan, as always. And thank you very much for being here and being my best friend as always. I love you very much, Jonathan.
I love you too, Dustin. Thank you so much for always being here with me as well. So we want to thank everyone for being here. You can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. And my Cash App is $Jonathan Lee 07. That's JONATHANLEE 07. And Dustin, could you give them your Instagram so that they can follow you?
My Instagram is Dustin Butler 700. Dustin Butler 700. If sometimes you just type in Dustin Butler, it'll pop right up on there. But if you don't find it, just find it at Dustin Butler 700 on Instagram. My
Cool
Facebook
beans.
is Dustin Butler.
Yeah. All right, Dustin. Thank you so much, Dustin. So thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. Join us next week, same time, same place, same beautiful faces. But until then, we'll say bye for now. Y'all have a good week, and we love y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good one.